Downing suit refusing to be drawn and when it will stage the Commons vote on the deal with the EU on post-Brexit trading arrangements in Northern Ireland, the so-called Windsor Framework. Well, the DUP is setting up an 8-member consultative panel to examine that framework before deciding on whether to re-enter power sharing at Stormont. It will contain former party leaders, including Baroness Foster and Peter Robinson as well. Let's get more from Belfast now with our Northern Ireland reporter, Dougie Beattie. And Dougie, of course, they did say they were going to take their time on this. I mean, are we still talking days or weeks ahead?
Well, Jeffrey Donaldson said exactly he would take his time, and he's more or less aiming at the end of March, start of April. Of course, he will be in Washington next week for the St. Patrick's Day celebrations and may come under a lot of pressure there. And of course, he can then say, sorry, we're examining this deal. We're going through it piece by piece. And to be in his shoes, I could see exactly why he is examining it. There is very, very shaded areas in this. If you take it, if I took 10 cows to Carlisle to sell them and then only sold 8, the 2 coming back, would they be in the red lanes or would they be in the green lanes? Well, the EU are saying red lanes. British Parliament is saying, no, green lanes. If we had a foot and mouth outbreak in some, say, Monaghan or Keady or somewhere on the border, would we be part of the EU or would we be part of the UK? And if we're in the EU, can our companies here bid for contracts inside the EU without having to set up a business in the EU or partner up with an EU business? And all those things need to be looked at very, very closely, because of course it affects us all in Northern Ireland. Not all farmers are nationalists, not all manufacturers are unionists. So of course those questions have to be asked, and Sir Jeffrey Donaldson very much saying we need clarification on them before we go back in here, and of course that starts to lock us down once more and he ends up with no stability here. So the good point about this is the DUP actually seem to be trying to work this as a framework as opposed to an agreement, an end-all agreement.
OK, so that's the mechanics, if you like, of that cross-border, as you say, the channels, red or green, and which colour you paint your cows. But what about the other issue, the political issue, that Stormont break? Is that actually exercising their minds as well?
Well, it does seem to be, but at this moment in time, they are very much concentrating on the business side of this first.
Right.
They're looking to see exactly where we stand financially. Because don't forget, Northern Ireland, 70% of Northern Ireland's trade is with the UK, not with the EU. And I am quite literally amazed that the DUP are doing this in such detail. This is the first time I think any of us in Northern Ireland have seen the DUP go very openly into a deal. Not kick it out, not the horses haven't bolted, and they're deciding to have a look at what's there. I think this is a good move for Northern Ireland politics at this minute in time.